They say no hunter returns the same from Black Hollow, and some never return at all. For decades, the locals have whispered about it in bars, at campfires, and in hushed tones whenever hunting stories turn grim. Black Hollow is no ordinary forest. It is a place where sunlight feels weaker, where even the birds refuse to sing past dusk, and where every step feels watched. Old hunters speak of a monstrous beast that roams its depths, a creature known only as the cursed boar of Black Hollow. No ordinary wild boar. The cursed one was said to be more shadow than flesh, an unnatural legend that stalked the forest with patience far greater than any predator. The stories claimed it was massive, larger than any recorded boar in North America, with tusks like sides, fur blackened and matted with mud and blood, and eyes that reflected fire even where there was none. More terrifying than its size, though, was its mind. For the cursed boar was not just an animal, but something else, something intelligent. Hunters told tales of it setting traps, circling camps at night, driving prey into corners where escape was impossible. Some said it wasn't even a boar at all, but a spirit bound to flesh, cursed for some forgotten sin, condemned to haunt Black Hollow until no human dared enter again. Most dismissed the stories as superstition. But in 2012, three friends, Raj, Eric, and Thomas, seasoned hunters who had grown tired of hearing the same legends, decided to prove them wrong. They weren't amateurs. They had hunted bears in Montana, elk in Colorado, and boars in Texas. Young, confident, and well-armed, they laughed at the warnings of the elders, packed supplies for 3 nights, and set out to conquer the hollow once and for all. At first, everything seemed normal. The woods were dense but manageable, filled with nervous jokes and easy laughter, until late afternoon when they found the tracks. The prints were unlike anything they had ever seen before. Hoof marks, yes, but nearly twice the size of a normal boar's. And beside them, strange drag marks cutting through the dirt like scars left by chains pulled slowly and endlessly across the ground. As night fell, the forest grew unnaturally still, pressing in around them until a low metallic scraping echoed through the trees, distant at first, then closer, slow, methodical, like rusted iron dragging across stone. Thomas tried to laugh it off. It's just the wind, but his voice betrayed him as he loaded his shotgun. Then the radios crackled. None of them had touched the transmit button, yet heavy, ragged breathing filled the speakers. Not human, not quite animal, just deep, guttural breath before silence returned. The forest froze with them until from the darkness, a massive shape emerged. The cursed boar. Its frame was enormous, shoulders broad, head low, fur tangled and dark, glistening as though wet with tar. One of its hind legs was twisted and broken, forever bound by a rusted iron trap clamped deep into its flesh, dragging across the ground with a sickening scrape, sparks spitting when it struck stone. It was no legend. It was real. The beast charged. Thomas fired first and missed, the thunder of his shot shattering the night. Raj raised his rifle, fired twice, the bullet striking but failing to stop it. Eric's rifle jammed. Panic broke them apart. They ran, branches whipping at their faces, the sound of chains grinding and monstrous breathing closing in behind. Then Thomas slipped. His scream tore through the night as the beast dragged him into the brush, cut off in an instant, leaving only silence too heavy, too final for the woods. Raj and Eric ran until their lungs burned, stumbling by chance upon an old hunter's shack, collapsing yet still standing. They barricaded the door, trembling, gasping for air. For a fleeting moment, there was peace. Then scratching on the roof. At first soft, then louder, heavier, until the ceiling groaned under immense weight. Dust rained down as something vast and alive breathed just above them, rattling the rafters with each exhale. They sat in paralyzed silence, clutching their weapons, until dawn finally broke and they dared to open the door. There was no sign of Thomas, only his hunting knife snapped in half and a message carved deep into the dirt floor inside the shack. Stay out. Eric never hunted again, selling his guns, moving states, and refusing to speak of Black Hollow. But Raj could not let it go. The cursed boar consumed his thoughts, followed him into dreams, and haunted the edges of his waking life. He studied the legends, spoke to old hunters, and interviewed locals who refused to go near the hollow. The stories varied. Some said the beast was born of blood spilled in a forgotten battle. Others claimed it was a hunter cursed by the forest itself, but every tale ended the same. The boar lived, undefeated. 2 years later, Raj returned, alone. When he failed to come home, search parties went looking, but all they found was his shattered GoPro camera buried in the mud. The footage was unbelievable. In it, Raj stood in a clearing at dusk, breathing ragged, rifle shaking in his hands. Across the clearing, the monstrous boar waited. But this time, it was not alone. Dozens of smaller wild boars circled it in silence, not squealing or rooting, just staring, as though waiting for their master's command. The cursed boar stepped forward, dragging its rusted trap, sparks flaring at each step, its eyes glowing faintly in the dying light.
If you'll enjoy this video, please like and subscribe my channel for more information.